Well, welcome back to Cooking with JB.
And Jamie.
So we are back in the kitchen, and we're going to start with one of our staples, okay? Kind of the Rolls Royce of steaks. And I say that because it's the one item that we would put against anybody's on the, not just on the menu, but I'd go against anybody's filet steakhouse, top to bottom. So this is a prime center cut filet. You can see how beautiful it is, and it's pretty simple. The one thing I like about using this cafe, we don't have a like a grill, so that's what makes this so great. We put a great char on the outside. I'm typically known for not being the best steak cooker like my wife, so I'm going to let her cook with you today, but just kind of talking about some fine points on how to char and cook this steak called the Great Steak. So go ahead, honey.
Do I have to actually talk?
Yes, you have to talk. So we're putting some vegetable oil down. The griddle is probably about 400, 425, so it's going to be hot. You want to oil it down. And this is the seasoning mixture we make. It's got lemon pepper, garlic powder, and cracked black pepper. And we're going to coat it heavily. So this is 10 ounce, so it's kind of like a softball. You want to form it and shape it. And there we go. So it's starting.
We're going to take a little bit of our dill butter, because you know we put that on everything. And then we're going to cook this about 3 minutes on each side.
And where does that get you at a perfect what?
Medium, rare.
Rare. We have a debate on this. I go by look, she goes by time. But needless to say, we all know who cooks the better steak. So, I mean, you. So the dill butter we do literally use on everything. It's got garlic, dill, of course, onion, chicken base, and a lot of butter. We go through about 5 to 10 gallons a week. During Antique Week, which is coming up here in a few weeks, we'll go through 50 gallons. So needless to say, there's a reason why my family isn't known for extremely being healthy, because we put that stuff on everything. So anywho, so we're going to give it a few minutes to char and crust. This seasoning mix, you can come in-house and buy it, but it goes great on
Or we can
everything.
ship it to you.
Yes, we can ship it to you, along with some pies. It goes great on everything, and the reason why, it's just with this grill and how we cook our meats, it works well. Not only that, we use it on our pork tenderloin, and we add a peach and pepper glaze, our pork chop, and then sometimes we just take it and sprinkle it over fresh fish and grill it. So if you have a flat top like this, and then we put it on our stir-fried vegetables, and it goes great with some stir-fried vegetables with a little bit of olive oil, and season them up with that. So it goes a long way. It's got multi-purpose use. You can use it on chicken. Like I said, shrimp. We use it all day long on just about every dish we do.
Roasted potatoes in the oven.
Oh yes, that's a good one.
Hamburgers.
It's true. The shrimp on the shrimp BLT. So those are different things. You know, don't be. You're cooking today. Forgive me. Needs a little bit. Show the camera what that looks like.
It's not quite ready.
But it's getting there, right? I think that's been about 4 minutes past your 3-minute time clock.
What does that mean?
You said 3 minutes. During
Well,
Antique
getting
Week,
warm.
we will have, we'll go through about 50 to 60 steaks a night. And I think last show was the record. We were going through so many, and we did not have one steak sent back because I was not cooking
He
them.
was not cooking.
Yeah. So, Kyle Branham, yes, there you know. I won't overcook your steak. Oh, great story. So the back line of this story is, my wife came down during Antique Week back in 06, right? And so she comes in and eats, and she goes, I'll take a steak. Of course, and my dad's sitting there, and we know Dad being burly and all that, and he didn't let anybody eat a steak, and I don't think he was too fond of Jamie yet. And and she goes, I'll take my steak well done. And I thought my dad was going to come unglued.
And then I asked for A1 sauce.
That, I'll never get him coming to the table and say, don't you ever order her another steak. So it's kind of a pretty funny story now. She probably might be one of the favorites now with Bud.
Depends on the day, I guess.
Depends on the day. But now she likes her steak like cold-blooded rare. Cut the horns off, whack it, and throw it on a plate. And so it's just life. It's kind of crazy when you step into the restaurant business, you kind of change your ways. So
For sure.
there's only one thing she still doesn't really eat much of. She won't like it, foie gras.
No, it's horrible.
It's the only thing I've seen her change her taste buds from Taco Bell and Subway only to now I will eat raw fish, sushi, rare steak. So it's kind of fun. So she runs the kitchen and does a hell of a job with it. And we make a pretty good team.
Fun.
Some days. We're just human. When you work this much together, close this together. So again, at home, if you can do this in a cast iron skillet, know that it will smoke a lot, okay? So we put more of that butter. You do not need to make this butter, okay? It does probably give it a little extra flavor. If you were to do it at home, I would just take a stick of butter. I don't even think you really need a dill. Put some garlic in there, some crushed bouillon cubes, and you've got something that's very comparable. I think you could take away some of the things that we put in there. And what I would do is, put it in the fridge and store it. So, but if you're at home using a cast iron skillet, do it over medium-high heat. And it's, like I said, it's going to smoke up quite a bit. And so what I would do is very much sear your outsides. Often you'll see a cast iron versus a flat top. This is a stainless steel. Cast iron is actually iron. So it'll cook it, it'll sear it a little bit quicker. So what I would do is then put your oven about 400 degrees. If you've got a 10-ounce filet like this, sear the outsides. It probably will not take that long, and stick in the oven for about 5-10 minutes, okay? At 400. I would do about 5 minutes because you can always cook it longer. And that's the one thing we always say is you can always cook it. You can put it back in the oven if you don't like it. The one thing is once we cook it, it's probably going to be a perfect medium rare to medium rare. But if you can let it sit on its sides a little bit longer and keep on going. We don't have an oven back here, so we do have to regulate and watch how we cook these a little bit more. But at home, that's what I would do. Or what I would suggest is there's a 36-inch flat top griddle called Blackstone that makes them, and they've got different variations. But the original one was just the same size of this, okay? Maybe not as deep, but pretty close, 36 inches, and hooks up to your propane tank, and it's outside. And the beautiful part about it is, one, you're not gonna smoke up your kitchen. Two, you can cook a bunch of bacon and eggs on there and all outside. And not that no one loves the smell of bacon in their house, but it can linger for a few days if you cook a lot. So like Christmas morning or something like that, when you're cooking for a bunch of people, it's a great opportunity to cook outside, smoke out, do all the smoking outside, and maybe get away from your family for a little while and drink a few beers before Christmas morning. So at the cafe, we do grilled onions on top. So we'll just put those and grill those on here, and then we put it on the top with the dill butter. So we'll get ready for that. We use red onions. Why? Because that's what we like to do. So you're welcome to use good old yellow onions. Would work just as fine. You want to take it to another level, what I would suggest is grabbing some portobello mushrooms or just regular button mushrooms and cutting those up, sauteing them in another pan with some olive oil, throw some salt and pepper and goodness on it. It'll go great over the top of that filet. Don't use a weight. You don't need to use a weight. So, we're in the waiting game here. One other thing that does really well with this, if you're want to go adventuresome a little bit more, is let me say two things. I call like a couple of these dishes are really simple. Like if you're a single guy trying to impress a female, this is your goal, right? This is a very simple dish, and you can cook it at home with a baked potato, and it'll make you look like a world chef. So it's very simple. However, what you could do on this is, once you're through searing it, okay, pull it off and then let it rest. And yes, you can let it rest at the end of it. They talk about letting it rest for a few minutes. But what I'm talking about, making a beef Wellington, something that goes great at Christmas time. And so I wouldn't use a 10-ounce filet. I'd probably use a 6 or an 8-ounce, a little bit smaller, which won't need as long as a time or in the oven if you're at home cooking. Or you can tell them how to make the steak sauce, huh?
Sure. while we're waiting.
Yes, let's do it.
Let's do it.
You want to make one?
Sure.
Oh, even better.
May
I
as
like
well.
it. Heck yeah. See? Added bonus feature.
All right, just gonna get your skillet nice and hot.
I bet there's mushrooms. Even better.
Yep, there is.
Skillet nice and hot, all right? One of my pet peeves when people like try to cook and they put like eggs in a cold skillet and they go everywhere. I'm like, I might want to get that skillet a little bit warmer. All right.
A little bit of dill butter.
Which again, if you're at home, we'll probably use some olive oil.
Some red onion. Mushrooms. A little bit of rosemary.
And you can use bud mushrooms or portobello. She loves baby portobello mushrooms, so those go well.
I'm gonna break your rosemary up a little bit. We'll let that cook down a minute.
This is the dish, if I was to compete against Bobby Flay, I'd know it with its tail. You ever seen the show Beat Bobby Flay? My only problem is I'd have to beat that first round and then try to beat him on it, but I know I could.
I think you have enough ideas up there. Maybe.
Maybe. Not as many as I used to.
So you're gonna take a little bit of red wine, swirl your pan. A little of our marination, about a quarter size. Too much. Let the wine kind of cook out a little bit.
Flip to our last side. Perfect.
Whoa!
Almost had a mistake. Perfect. Beautiful hunky meat coming at you.
Last thing, we're just add some heavy whipping cream. Let that cook down.
Another great dish to do like Christmas Day, if you didn't want to do individual fillets or Wellingtons, is get the whole tenderloin and you could crust it on the outside, right? Just in that same seasoning mixture that we're talking about. Sear it. You've only got a few sides to sear it on, and stick it in the oven for about half an hour at about 300 degrees. And that just comes out perfect. And you've got your full mixture of your towards the tail. You'll have your medium well, mediums. As you get towards the middle, your medium rares, and then you go back to the head, back to medium. So those are great options to do. And not only that, it's very simple. And make a little bit of horseradish, homemade horseradish dressing. Don't buy horseradish. Make your own horseradish dressing. It's so easy. And those are one thing that can be made ahead of time. Or you could sear it or smoke it in a flat top on a grill. But I like to sear the crust on the outside. So we're coming at you, almost done.
We do have one customer that comes in and they'll get like a quart of the steak sauce just to dip their French fries in at home.
True.
Yummy. All right.
I think we're done. Take a sneak peek.
Probably done enough for me.
Done? Yeah. Well, not for the majority of America, all right? So again, you can tell like my eyes are getting irritated. So luckily we have a vent hood that's not running. So again, at home, make sure your vent is on, and that's what I'm saying. When you're done, stick in the oven, kick out some of that smoke that you'll do. Or Blackstone, you can get me a kickback for selling all the Blackstone flat tops. Tell you what, you can get them at Walmart. They are awesome. We use them for catering. We literally love them, and they hold the heat really well.
Yes.
So normally what we would do is we're just serving the steak, put the onions on top. In fact, let me get a plate. Do that. All right.
Should I grab a knife and a fork?
We'll grab a knife and fork. We're gonna put it right there. Okay. Now, that's the great steak. Like I said, perfect rare to medium rare. That's the way she likes it. Some people, if you want it more, again, to let it cook longer on the grill, put it in the oven and let it sit and rest for a few minutes, and you'll have your desired temperature. You can also probe it. So 130 you're pulling, or 125, 130 you're pulling for rare, 135 medium rare. So you're more than welcome to continue cooking. This was an incredible piece of meat, and I promise you, you will not be disappointed. So know when I say it's the Rolls Royce meat, you're going to pay for it as well. So you can expect your costs to run about 25 to 30 bucks a pound at a good quality meat store. But thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll be back next week, or in a couple weeks for certain, for another Cooking with JB and Jamie Lynn. Thank you.